First contact fallout. The horizon hung in space like a silver needle against the black tapestry of stars. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the view screen as the massive alien vessel approached. After decades of searching the cosmos for intelligent life, humanity had finally received a response to their signals. The Krellthux Dominion had invited Earth's representatives to meet at these coordinates on the edge of the Arcturus system. All systems nominal, Captain, reported Lieutenant Farid, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The alien vessel is maintaining position at 5,000 kilometers. Maya nodded, tucking a strand of her jet-black hair behind her ear. 20 years in the Earth Defense Fleet hadn't prepared her for this moment. No one on Earth was prepared. First contact would reshape human history forever. Open communications channel, she ordered, straightening her midnight blue uniform. The insignia of United Earth gleamed on her chest, a silver globe embraced by olive branches, a symbol of peace that had finally united humanity after centuries of war. Channel open, Farid confirmed. Maya cleared her throat. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Diplomatic Vessel Horizon. On behalf of humanity, we extend greetings of peace and friendship. The view screen flickered, revealing a being unlike anything in Earth's wildest imagination. The Krellthux ambassador resembled a mantis crossed with a jellyfish, its upper torso rigid with an exoskeleton, while dozens of translucent tendrils floated beneath it. 4 compound eyes studied Maya with unnerving intensity. Captain Chen. The alien's voice was processed through the ship's translation matrix, emerging as a metallic, multi-tone sound. I am Overseer Shkill of the Krellthux Dominion. We have observed your species for some time. Maya maintained her diplomatic smile despite the chill that ran down her spine. They had been watching. For how long? We're honored to establish peaceful relations with your people, Overseer. We have much to learn from each other. The alien's head tilted at an unnatural angle. Indeed, your species' rapid development has been noteworthy. Before Maya could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Lieutenant Farid shouted, Captain, energy surge from the Krellthux vessel. They're charging weapons. That's impossible, Maya said, even as her training kicked in. Raise shields. Evasive maneuvers. The horizon lurched as the first salvo hit. The ship's advanced shields absorbed the initial blast, but warning lights flashed across every console. What is the meaning of this? Maya demanded, gripping her command chair as the ship shuddered around her. The alien's compound eyes seemed to gleam with cold calculation. Your species represents an unacceptable variable in our models, Captain Chen. The algorithm is clear. Humanity must be contained before it becomes a threat. We've done nothing to threaten you. Maya shouted as another blast rocked the ship. Not yet, the Overseer replied simply. But you will. Our predictive models are never wrong. The communication cut off as another barrage hammered the horizon. Smoke filled the bridge as consoles exploded. Shields failing. Farid cried out, We can't take another hit like that. Maya made the hardest decision of her career. All hands, abandon diplomatic protocols. This is now a combat situation. Farid, deploy countermeasures and prepare the jump drive. But Captain, we're not fully charged for a jump. Do it anyway, she ordered. And download all sensor data on their weapon signatures. Earth needs to know what we're up against. As the Horizon's emergency jump drive spooled up, Maya sent one final message toward Earth on all frequencies. First contact hostile. Prepare for war. They don't know what they've started. The jump tore the horizon through space in a maneuver the human engineers had deemed theoretically possible, but never tested in combat. Half the systems failed instantly. 3 crew members died from the gravitational shear. But the gamble worked. They escaped. 2 weeks later, Maya stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her arm in a sling, her face still bearing the burns from the bridge fire. The attack was unprovoked, she explained to the grim-faced officials. The Krell-Thuxt acted based on some kind of predictive algorithm. They believe humanity will become a threat to them in the future, so they've decided to eliminate us now. Admiral Okonkwo, a towering Nigerian with close-cropped white hair, leaned forward. How advanced is their technology? Maya nodded to her science officer, who projected a hologram of the Krell-Thuxt's vessel. Their energy weapons outclass ours by at least 2 generations. Their shields appear to use a quantum refraction technology we've only theorized about. But, she emphasized, they're not invincible. We collected enough data during the attack to identify several weaknesses. What do we know about their civilization? Asked Counselor Zhao, the Chinese representative. The Krell-Thuxt's dominion spans 17 star systems. They're a hierarchical species with a governing caste that relies heavily on predictive algorithms to make decisions. Based on our brief interaction and the data we gathered, they appear to be technological determinists. They believe that technological development follows predictable patterns across all species, and they'd predicted that we'll eventually surpass them, Admiral Okonkwo concluded. Precisely, Maya confirmed, which is why they attacked without negotiation. In their calculation, we represent an extinction-level threat, not now, but eventually. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity, barely united after centuries of internal conflict, now faced an external enemy that wanted them eliminated as a precautionary measure. They've made a critical error, said Dr. Elias Santos, breaking the silence. The Brazilian quantum physicist had been invited for his expertise on theoretical weapons development. Their algorithm assumes all species develop along predictable lines, but humans are anything but predictable. Maya felt a grim smile form. That's what I've been thinking, Doctor. They expect us to respond conventionally, to build bigger ships, stronger shields, more powerful weapons. But we don't have time for that. We need to think asymmetrically, Admiral Okonkwo agreed. If we can't match their technology, we make their technology irrelevant. Dr. Santos finished. And I believe I know how. Over the next 3 months, reports flowed in of Krell-Thuxt's ships appearing at the edges of the solar system. They struck at outposts on Mars and the moons of Jupiter, testing Earth's defenses. Each attack revealed more about their tactical doctrine, rigid, methodical, and utterly predictable. Meanwhile, Dr. Santos led a team of Earth's brightest minds in Project Prometheus, a radical approach to warfare that eschewed conventional military thinking. The Krell-Thuxt's rely on centralized command and control, Dr. Santos explained to Maya as they toured the underground facility in the Antarctic. Their entire strategy depends on their predictive algorithms processing information and issuing commands through a hierarchical network. And you found a way to exploit that? Maya asked. Santos smiled, his dark eyes twinkling with excitement. Better than that, Captain. We've developed a system that doesn't just exploit their weaknesses, it actively adapts to their responses in real time. He led her to a spherical chamber where a pulsing blue light emanated from a complex array of quantum processors. Captain Chen, meet HFY, Adaptive Tactical Heuristic and Emergent Network Algorithm. Unlike the Krell-Thuxt system, which predicts based on deterministic models, HFY evolves constantly. She learns, adapts, and implements strategies that no alien algorithm could possibly predict. Because they're not based on logic, Maya guessed. On the contrary, they're based on a uniquely human form of logic, one that incorporates intuition, creativity, and even calculated irrationality. Santos placed his hand on the console. The Krell-Thuxt predict based on what should happen. HFY predicts based on what could happen, and that makes all the difference. As they spoke, alarm sirens blared throughout the facility. Admiral Okonkwo's voice came over the intercom. Captain Chen to command immediately. The Krell-Thuxt have launched a major offensive. They've broken through our outer defenses and are approaching Earth. Maya exchanged a glance with Santos. Is HFY ready? The physicist nodded. She's been ready for weeks. We've just been feeding her more data about the enemy." "Then it's time," Maya said, feeling the surge of determination. They picked a fight with the wrong species. Now humanity responds. The Krellthuk's assault fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel just beyond the lunar orbit. 47 ships, each bristling with weapons that could reduce a city to ash in seconds. Against them, Earth positioned its hastily assembled defense force, a mixture of military vessels and retrofitted civilian ships. On paper, it was no contest. But the Krellthuks didn't know about HFY. As the alien fleet advanced in perfect formation, Earth's ships scattered in what appeared to be panicked disarray. The Krellthuks, following their algorithmic battle plans, adjusted to pursue the largest clusters of human vessels. That's when thousands of tiny objects detached from Earth's ships, each no larger than a coffee mug, but containing a miniaturized version of HFY's neural network. These autonomous microdrones swarmed toward the Krellthuks' fleet, constantly changing patterns in ways that confused the alien targeting systems. Aboard her new command ship, the Defiance, Maya watched the tactical display as the first phase of Santos' plan unfolded. "The microdrones are penetrating their shields," reported Lieutenant Farid, who had insisted on serving with Maya despite the injuries he'd sustained in the first encounter. "The Krellthuks' point defense systems are responding exactly as HFY predicted." Maya nodded, launched the second wave. Larger drones, each carrying a quantum interference package designed by Santos' team, accelerated toward the alien vessels. Unlike conventional weapons, these didn't attempt to breach the enemy shields directly. Instead, they created a cascading field effect that temporarily destabilized the quantum refraction technology the Krellthuks relied upon. On the main view screen, Maya watched as sections of the alien shields flickered and failed, not enough to leave them defenseless, but sufficient to create vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities that HFY had already calculated and transmitted to Earth's fleet. "All ships, execute attack pattern Athena 7. Maya commanded. "Target the designated shield fluctuation points only. Make every shot count." Earth's vessels, previously scattered, now moved in a coordinated dance that bore no resemblance to conventional military tactics. They struck from impossible angles, exploiting momentary weaknesses, then retreated before the Krellthuks could lock onto them. 3 alien ships were disabled in the first minute, 7 more in the next 2 minutes. The Krellthuks' formation, previously so orderly, began to break apart as their commanders struggled to adapt to a battle scenario their algorithms hadn't predicted. "They're regrouping," Farid warned. "Looks like they're attempting to establish a new attack pattern." Maya smiled grimly. "Exactly as HFY said they would. Implement countermeasure suite beta." The battle raged for hours. The Krellthuks, despite their technological superiority, found themselves constantly one step behind, reacting to human maneuvers that seemed random, but were actually precisely calculated by HFY to exploit the alien psychological and tactical blind spots. When the Krellthuks finally retreated, 13 of their ships had been destroyed, and 17 more severely damaged. Earth had lost 11 vessels, a painful toll, but far less than the total annihilation the aliens had planned. As the remaining enemy ships jumped away, the command center erupted in cheers. But Maya knew this was just the beginning. The Krellthuks would return with a larger force, their algorithms updated based on this encounter. But by then, HFY would have evolved as well. And now humanity had something even more precious than victory. They had hope. The human equation. Admiral Schkull stood before the Grand Algorithmic Council, his mantis-like form rigid with barely contained rage. The chamber's crystalline walls reflected the bioluminescent glow of the 12 counselors as they processed the battle data. "Impossible," stated the prime calculator, her tendrils twitching. "The human's response defies all predictive models. Their tactics showed patterns that our algorithms categorize as simultaneously organized and chaotic. They should have been crushed, Schichtel said, his compound eyes fixed on the holographic simulation of the battle. Our technology is superior in every measurable way. And yet, the prime calculator's voice carried a note of fascination. They adapted. Not gradually, as evolutionary theory would suggest, but instantly, as if they had anticipated our strategies before we implemented them. A younger counselor's voice cut through the chamber. Could they have developed a predictive algorithm of their own? One that surpasses ours? Silence fell over the council. Such a suggestion bordered on heresy. The grand algorithm had guided Krulthuk's civilization for 10,000 cycles. It had never been wrong. Until now. Assemble the Dominion fleet, the prime calculator finally ordered. All of it. We will not underestimate these humans again. The extinction protocol must be implemented immediately. Across the void of space, Dr. Elias Santos stood before a different council on Earth, explaining the next phase of Project Prometheus. Athena performed beyond expectations in the first engagement, he said, gesturing to the holographic display of battle statistics. But the Krulthuks will adapt. Their next attack will incorporate what they learned about our tactics. So we need new tactics, Admiral Okonkwo suggested. Santos shook his head. Better. We need a new paradigm altogether. He expanded the hologram to show a network of orbital platforms around Earth. These are quantum entanglement communicators. Once deployed, they'll allow ATHENA to coordinate our defenses with zero transmission delay, regardless of distance. And the offensive capabilities? Captain Chen asked. After the Battle of Earth, she had been promoted to fleet commander. Santos brought up another schematic, this one showing a modification to Earth's fleet. We're implementing what we call cognitive warfare modules on all vessels. The Krulthuks rely on sensory data to feed their algorithms. These modules don't just jam their sensors. They feed false information designed specifically to trigger cascading errors in their prediction models. Psychological warfare against an algorithm. Someone asked skeptically. Precisely, Santos confirmed. The Krulthuks trust their grand algorithm implicitly. When it fails catastrophically, their entire command structure will experience something analogous to cognitive dissonance. In human terms, they'll panic. As Earth prepared its defenses, the Krulthuks moved methodically through the outer colonies. New Eden fell after a 3-day siege. The mining outposts in the Kuiper Belt were wiped out in hours. Each victory strengthened the aliens' confidence that the Battle of Earth had been an anomaly, one their updated algorithms had now accounted for. What they couldn't account for was humanity's remarkable ability to turn defeat into opportunity. Every lost outpost provided data on Krulthuk's tactics. Every destroyed human ship transmitted crucial information back to ATHENA before its destruction. The AI system evolved exponentially, developing countermeasures that the Krulthuks couldn't possibly anticipate because they defied conventional logic. When the Dominion fleet finally arrived at Proxima Centauri, Earth's most developed colony, and the last stepping stone before the Sol system, they found a seemingly unprepared and disorganized human defense force. Their formation is chaotic, reported the Krulthuks tactical officer to Admiral Schichtel. The algorithm predicts total victory within 3 standard intervals. Schichtel's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. Launched the attack pattern. No survivors. The massive Dominion fleet surged forward, weapons primed. But as they entered the optimal firing range, something extraordinary happened. Every human vessel simultaneously emitted a pulse of quantum radiation precisely calibrated to the frequency of Krulthuk's sensors. To the aliens, it appeared as if the human fleet had instantly multiplied 100-fold, with phantom ships appearing and disappearing in patterns that overwhelmed their targeting systems. Sensory anomalies, shouted the tactical officer. The algorithm cannot establish firing solutions. Impossible, Schichtel hissed. Recalibrate and... He never finished the order. At that moment, the real human fleet attacked, not with conventional weapons, but with devices that generated localized fields of quantum uncertainty. Within these fields, the laws of physics became temporarily unpredictable. Krell-Thux shields, designed to operate according to fixed principles, fluctuated wildly or failed entirely. Meanwhile, HFY coordinated the human counterattack with preternatural precision. Each ship targeted the exact vulnerabilities unique to its Krell-Thux's opponent, exploiting weaknesses that shouldn't have been detectable. In the command center on Proxima Centauri, Maya watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. The Krell-Thux's fleet, previously so orderly, now scattered in disarray as their chain of command broke down. Their rigid hierarchy, usually an asset, became a critical liability when their commanders couldn't receive clear orders from superiors. "They're retreating," announced Lieutenant Farid, now serving as Maya's executive officer. But Maya shook her head. "Not retreat. Look at their formation. They're regrouping for another attack." Indeed, the Krell-Thux's vessels were consolidating around their flagship, a massive vessel 3 times the size of any other in their fleet. As they watched, energy readings from the flagship spiked dramatically. "They're channeling power to their main weapon," Santos said, his face pale as he studied the readings. "If that hits the colony." Maya made a split-second decision. "Athena, calculate intercept course for my vessel. Divert all power to engines and forward shields." "Captain," Farid looked at her in shock. "Their flagship is a central node in their network," Maya explained quickly. "Athena's analysis shows that it contains their local version of the grand algorithm. If we can disrupt it directly." "That's a suicide mission," Santos protested. Maya's expression hardened. "No, it's the only logical solution." She turned to Farid. "You have command of the fleet. Keep them occupied while I deliver our message." Before anyone could stop her, Maya raced to a small, experimental craft equipped with the latest quantum uncertainty generators. As she launched toward the Krell-Thux's flagship, Athena's voice spoke through her comm system. "Captain Chen, I have calculated 18 possible outcomes for this scenario." "And how many result in victory?" Maya asked, dodging debris as she accelerated toward the massive alien vessel. 3, Athena replied. "All require perfect timing and a degree of unpredictability that I cannot program." Maya smiled grimly. "Then it's a good thing you have a human at the controls." Her small craft darted through the chaotic battlefield, avoiding detection thanks to Athena's precise calculations of Krell-Thux's sensor blind spots. As she approached the flagship, she activated the quantum uncertainty generator at maximum power. Inside the Krell-Thux's vessel, alarms blared as their systems detected the approaching anomaly. Admiral Zhtull watched in disbelief as their sensors struggled to identify the tiny craft hurtling toward them. "Impossible," he said for the second time that day. "No pilot could navigate through our defenses." But Maya did exactly that, guiding her vessel through a gap in the flagship's shields that existed for less than 2 seconds. She crashed directly into the section Athena had identified as housing the ship's algorithmic processing center. The quantum uncertainty field expanded on impact, engulfing the flagship's central systems. To the Krell-Thux's, it was as if reality itself had become unreliable. Their beloved algorithm, faced with data that defied its fundamental assumptions, began to generate contradictory commands. On the bridge, Admiral Zhtull watched in horror as control panels exploded around him. The holographic displays showing battle predictions dissolved into nonsensical patterns. "The algorithm has failed," whispered the tactical officer, his voice filled with religious dread. Throughout the Dominion fleet, the effect cascaded as ships lost contact with the flagship's central coordination. Without the algorithm's guidance, the Krell-Thux's commanders hesitated, their training never having prepared them for independent decision-making. In that moment of paralysis, the human fleet struck with devastating precision. 37 Krell-Thux vessels were disabled in less than 5 minutes. The rest scattered, jumping blindly to escape. Admiral Zhtull. His flagship, crippled but still functional, received a transmission from the human command center. The face of Dr. Elias Santos appeared on his view screen. "Admiral," Santos said calmly, "your grand algorithm made a fundamental error. It assumed that technological superiority guarantees victory. But humanity's greatest weapon has never been our technology." "What then?" Zhktal demanded, mandibles clicking in fury. "Our unpredictability. Our creativity. Our ability to defy logical expectations when faced with impossible odds." Santos leaned forward. "Your algorithm predicted we would be extinct by now. How does it feel to be on the wrong side of probability?" Before Zhktal could respond, another transmission cut in. This one from a small escape pod launching from the wreckage of the craft that had crashed into his flagship. "This is Captain Maya Chen," came the transmission, the human's face appearing alongside Santos. Somehow, she had survived. "I'm transmitting a message directly to your Grand Algorithmic Council. Your extinction protocol has failed. But unlike you, we're not offering extinction in return." "What do you offer?" Zhktal asked, mandibles now still with wary curiosity. "Recalculation," Maya replied. "A peace based not on predictions, but on possibilities. Humanity doesn't want to destroy the Krulfucks. We want to show you a different way of thinking, one that embraces uncertainty instead of fearing it." As Maya's escape pod was recovered by a human vessel, the remains of the Dominion fleet retreated from Proxima Centauri. Whether they would return with an even larger force or consider humanity's unexpected offer remained to be seen. But one thing was certain. The Krulfucks had learned a painful lesson about humanity. They were not simply another species to be categorized and contained by algorithmic prediction. They were a force of nature, defined not by technological determinism, but by their boundless capacity to innovate, adapt, and overcome. The grand algorithm would need a complete rewrite. And perhaps in that rewriting, the Krulfucks might discover something they had never considered before, that the most powerful equation in the universe wasn't one of extinction, but of coexistence. Because as every human knew, the future wasn't something to be predicted. It was something to be created.